Yeah. Oh, yes. Welcome to Club Shadinia, episode 219. Listen, we're arriving already to 250. Listen, this thing is like, can you, like, for those who were here at episode, there's two words. For those who were here at episode 1, can you believe we're already at 219? So we've been doing this like for some time now. I think, did we start in 2020? Yeah, or 21? I don't even remember. I just remember we started was it the end of the lockdown or something like that? It's been a while, yo. It's been a wild ride, and we've been here like talking. And I'm asking myself, when I get my new house, and I get my own home office, and I don't need to wait for everybody to sleep so I can shoot the show in silence. Should I move the hours just a little earlier, maybe 1 hour earlier, like 11:30 or 10:30 even, maybe, for me. But we'll think about that when this is not now. I'm not buying the house yet, and I'm not moving yet, but I'm thinking about it. Like, do I keep it at night for me, and because it's late for a lot of people, or do I try to bring it to a place where it works for everybody? Like 10:30 here would be 11:30 in Paris, and probably 5:30. But maybe some people in Canada, maybe they're still at work. So I don't have to think about all this as I'm thinking about the next step I'm gonna take when I'm gonna. But hey, listen, you still have a lot of time before that, because I first need to find a house that I want. I need to be able to finance it, and I need to have a place where I have my home office where I can really, like, lock the door and work without nobody. But something interesting. If my wife is not asleep, she will find a way. She will know, like, yeah, she'll find a way to ask me something that I have to step out of. Siren Desil, thank you so much. You saved my wife from me bad mouthing her. I was saying, wives do this. If you're like, yo, I'm live, they'll find a way to call you or to say that they're looking for something in the pharmacy and it's in front of them, but nah, they will need you to go find it, for like this type of stuff. So I kind of like it when everybody's sleeping, for me. Even if, sometimes, yeah, you feel sleep here, like here. You feel sleep. And because of the weather, the weather, sorry, I gotta send something to my brother. What's the name of this place? Yeah, because of the we had some big weather change in what's the name? We had some huge weather like changes in Portugal. We had like 3 days with 40 degrees Celsius. Like it was a oven. On the four, and now the weather went down of 7 degrees. It was 33 today. So of course this activates my allergies straight away. So normally I have some pills that I can take I take them in the morning or late at night, and they act for 24 hours, and I'm fine. But the pills are over. So, because my wife is allergic to shrimp, but she likes to eat shrimp. Instead of being like me, I'm allergic to fish, to whatever comes from the sea. I don't eat that. So I don't have allergies or eczema or whatever. But her, she's like, nah, I'm going to take it, then I'm going to take your pills. So, of course, I'm out of pills all the time. And today I was like, damn, I'm out of pills. So I had to take the syrup. And so I have a syrup. And what is good with my allergy pills is that they don't make you sleepy. But the syrup that I just took, like I took it half an hour ago, because I was like really like sneezing all the time. Oh, they make you sleepy straight away. So I'm gonna try to perform. Listen, this show is brought to you by Shada, where the gods of good fortune. I want to say thank you and hi to everybody here that are the new subscribers to this channel. Don't forget to leave your like. I see there's a lot of people watching straight from the intro. I don't know if you are used to here or if you brand new, but click the like button. Yeah, listen, hi to Suli, Wilda, Sishas, Mira, etc., all the new subscribers to this channel. We have 2,100 and something new subscribers to the channel. We almost at 200,000 subscribers on this channel, which is beautiful. My son is coming, so I'll have to go open the door for him in a bit. From the get-go, tell me if you're feeling fine, first of all, and what time it is. Put the flag of where you're watching from or where you represent, and what time it is in your current location in the chat right away. And I want to acknowledge and say thank you to our best supporter, who's the stream royalty. The stream royalty, Sirène des Îles, for the month of July, with $15.54. If you want to become the new stream royalty, all you need to do is donate $16. With $16, boom, you become the new stream royalties. And you can do like Sirène des Îles, you can do it like 10 Canadian dollars at a time. Or you can do like a big donation straight away, or you can do 5 by 5, as you wish. And of course, all the sponsors, thank you so much. You can always use the super chat function of YouTube to be able to donate to this little operation that we have here. This show, let me open the door, give me a second. Something interesting, there's a bug in Spotify, so I mean, I don't mind right now, but it's interesting that their counter doesn't show the music where we are in the music. So I think it's probably a bug in this version. That will probably fix it in the next one, but yeah. Anyway, we're just using a playlist. Bonne nuit. Ferme la porte de la cuisine, s'il te plaît. Let me see this thing. I'm seriously thinking of removing this overlay here with the music, because I have to reload it all the time. And maybe if I had a way to reload them with a key or something, that would be better. But yeah, I have to really think about this whole thing. What I was saying, Joel, Amen, welcome home. How are you? I hope you're good. I hope the uncle is feeling good. The brothers, the sisters, and yeah, listen, bro. It's been a long time since you haven't been to the show, so this is open invitation. Same thing for Miss Dalia. We have to find a subject that we can talk about. That would be cool as well. Bon shows, what's good? I hope you're doing good. Ellie's boys, hello. Ezekiel, how are you? I hope you're doing good. Zhuzhan, new profile picture. I hope you're doing good. I like the latest photos. I'm gonna send you some. Bruno, what's good, brother? I hope you're doing good. How is the weather out there in Algarve? You guys were invaded with the Afro Nation. That was like, shoo! It was a sea of London and Paris people all over. Charlene, how are you? I hope you're doing good. Yeah, I was doing the lockdown, huh? Cyril Desil, thank you so much for your donation of 10 Canadian dollars. Come back for the replay as always. Oh, don't text and drive, but listen to us. It's okay. Whenever you want to say something in the chat, you wait for the red light to stop and type something. Good night. Another one under the belt, bro. Damn, listen. What we're doing is historic, but we're going to listen to that track in a bit. Tatiana, how are you? I hope you're doing good. Midnight and 53 in Lisbon. Wait, 58 now already. 7:58 in Niagara Falls in Canada. 1:54, 58, I guess, 59 now. In Lille, 1:59 somewhere. Not far where? For the terrace. Lomé, La Milliardaire, how are you? Hudson, Canada, almost 8 p.m. Lomé, almost midnight. Vraiment. Thank you. I mean, he has cute parents. That's what I can tell you. Nadia, how are you? How you been? What's going on out there in the south side? No. Is Nadia in South Africa or in South? I don't even remember where we are. All right. Hi, Gabby, what's goody? All right, listen. For those who were not there last week, the show with Miss Tricia. Oh, by the way, I didn't even send I have a WhatsApp list I have to send to all I tweet, then I send to some people, and then I have to send to the WhatsApp people. The club Shada 2019 New World Order. Then I sent to my WhatsApp groups, and yeah, a lot of people, they watch Club Shada the next day, and everybody enjoyed the show last week with Tricia. It was really a great show. The subjects were crazy. The conversation was very interesting, from Macy Gray to Will and Jada, to of course R. Kelly. It was a 5-hour show, 5 hours, and once the show was over, we were still on the phone with Trisha, so we continued for another hour talking. Listen, that's why I don't like to call Trisha late, because when we start talking, we just keep on. So we end up like, and because we're not on the same time frame, so for her it's like, like 6 p.m. or 8 p.m. I have no idea how. No, sometimes probably midnight for her, or 11. So she's chilling and in awake, and me, I'm falling asleep. So you try to stay as much as you can, but at a point I was like, Trish, I can't. But it was cool. It was really cool. Everybody always loved all my co-hosts, Joel Amen, Bodhisattva, MJ Wemoto, Trish. And listen, I really want to do, we've been talking about this for a long time, but we're going to do like a real meeting about it. I want to do like maybe, Trisha, Buddy, MJ, and I, and like, one of those, all of us talking, because it's been a long time that we didn't do an all open floor with everybody. So I really want to do this, and I want to do also, like, why not Elise, Julie, Dalia, and Trisha, and like, either, I mean, I like to do it with the image because it's a visual show, but like Trisha, sometimes we just do it on the phone. So I could call everybody on the phone, and then just put everybody on the speaker. But I mean, it would be better if everybody had image. That would be cool. Look at my son trying to be a philosopher. Don't forget that I have a Discord. You can go in the Discord and be part of Shada Gang, and we can continue the conversation out there. Oh yeah, that's what I thought. Nadia is in South Africa. Exactly. 2 a.m. Oh my God, so late. Yeah, it was cool. Listen, I'm still, me too. Listen, I'm still recuperating from my show of last month. Trust me. Oh, Dalia, I miss your show. Damn, listen, let me go see. Like, YouTube is not even talking to me about your show anymore. Let me see if you have any new episodes. Let me see that. So, Dalia MTV. When is the last time you uploaded a show? That 2 months ago? Oh my God. Yo. That's abuse. That's abuse for us, your fans. You leave us with Porta Porti just like that, and that's it? It's time to come back, yo. Vraiment, it's time to come back. You have to come back to you have to come back, or you can come to Shada Gang a little bit, because the people want to see you. The people have been telling me, bring her back. Where is she? And I'm like, I don't know. Maybe she's tired. Maybe she doesn't want to hear about you guys anymore. I don't know. Maybe she's just on holiday. Like, maybe she's, slept during the life. Sometimes I do micro sleeps myself. As I'm talking, I'm sleeping, and then I'm like, wake up and I'm still talking. So I remember what and then I continue. Hey, You know. Yeah. Bien sûr qu'il y a le Discord. Il y a le lien là dans le chat. MJ Wemoto, just on time for us to listen to the brand new single. So we're gonna do this. Oh, nice. Happy birthday to your wife. Tell your wife that the Shada gang says hi. We all wish her a happy birthday. Everybody put some birthday cakes for MJ Wemoto's wife. I have no idea what her name is because he never passed her on the phone. I know she's an entity. She's there. I know that every time he touches her like this, boom, there's a baby that pops out. That's all I know. Other than that, yeah. I will be back next month for my birthday. Come on. 3 months? Yo. That's abuse. That's abuse. Ça c'est abus. Non, ça c'est abus. Vraiment te lis. Your parents are here. Yeah, me too. My family is here. My mom is here. So, well, I'm still working, you know. All right. Well, listen. As MJ Wemoto is saying, I mean, it's not saying, but I want to introduce you to this new song that has been released. It's a song by MJ Wemoto, myself, and the magician Malcolm Beats. And listen, this track is crazy. That's all I can tell you. It's a crazy track. It's a track like, you know, one of those tracks when you do them and you're like, oh damn, yes. And soon as I heard the track, what the fuck? Baby, so listen, this track is crazy. It is called Alléluia. And so it's a banger. You know, whenever I meet a new artist or I talk to somebody that I'm like, okay, I wait before doing tracks with them. I wait because I want to make sure that I'm not working with people that I'm gonna stop talking in a few weeks or whatever. You know what I mean? Like you wanna work with people who, I'm not gonna say deserve to work with you, but in a way, yeah, you get disappointed with people so much in this life that you want to take the time to first know the people and know that there's a real genuine interaction. So what you do sometimes, you let them work with your soldiers. So, you know, MJ did some tracks with Lil Maro. We did some tracks here and there with Gino, with my boys. And then I was like, one day I just told him, I was listening to some beats on the Malcolm Beats YouTube channel, and I heard a beat. There was a song called Pluto X, and when I heard the beat, I was like, yo! And I just told him, I sent him a message on WhatsApp. I said, yo, I want a beat like that. And he was like, oh, I can give you this one. I was like, oh. And then as soon as I heard it, I knew I wanted somebody to rap and sing. And in my head, I was like, okay, maybe I'm going to rap and sing. But then I was like, nah. Let me do a track with MJ. It's time. So I just sent a WhatsApp to MJ. I said, bro. I was like, yo, bro. I said, it's time. He was like, what you mean? I said, it's time. And yeah, I think the song was recorded 4 days after. And this is a banger. It's one of those bangers. Hola. Gotcha. So listen, let's hear it. This song is called Hallelujah by Malcolm Beats, Kaysha, and MJ Wemoto. If you like the song, just put a lot of fires in the chat. All right, let's hear it.
Malcolm Beats.
So there's no confusion, don't get no illusion. Respect when they dealing with me. My flow is a fusion with top execution. We're not of the same pedigree. Command they respect, I'm the one they elected. It's cause and effect, now my G. Heavenly essence, the aura, the presence, cause godly is my energy.
Take a look at my wings, angel officially. Heaven, this is not my hood. You best remember my name in your prayers and I don't leave me. Heavenly Father, see me. You never perfect, you're beautiful. I know nobody like me. You will see the way they worship me. Hallelujah, hallelujah.
They facing it's all agitation, cause my declaration's a win. By fire, by force, it's my greatest endorsement. I show no remorse from within. God like, a lot like me, Zeus like, I God, I agree. Holy, the main guarantee I'm supreme in my being. That's the whole energy that I bring.
King. I have everything, but I'm not satisfied. They worship you more, but I am the one, only chosen, the one. They want me, they need me to feel. Burn them on fire, my only desire, until they call me sire. Oh my God, can't you see? Hallelujah.
And you heard the voice of my daughter in the end. So as I recorded that song in the afternoon, and my I think my daughter just came out of school. Just as I was finishing the last, I was finishing probably putting the last vocals, and because I normally I record at night, but because these days I wake up super early, as when my daughter has to go to school, I tend to sleep early as well. So when it's time to record, I'm tired. And actually, if I turn the blinds off and turn off the lights in the house, I feel in night mode. So I can record sometimes. Let's say my wife goes to the gym, or she goes to work, or she goes to see her sister. I'm alone in the house. 2 p.m., 3 p.m. It's actually a great time to record as well. I recorded a lot of albums in the afternoon as well when I was in Paris. So that's what I was doing. And actually, when I was done recording the track, I think I was just missing a few vibes here and there. My wife and my daughter opened the door and they're back from school. So I just told them, please, can you just stay in the bedroom for just 10 minutes? I just need to record the last vibes and finish the song. And that's what I did. And when I was done, my daughter just arrived and she was saying, thank you, Peppa. So she was probably watching Peppa Pig or something. And I was like, yo, this is nice. So I just gave her the microphone and I said, say something. And I kept it on the song so that, we can listen to this in 10 years or more and be like, yo, look, that was you singing here. So that's cool. And listen, this is a dope song. Props to MJ, Wemoto and Malcolm Beats, for delivering one of those sushiraw bangers. Another one, how we do. I do agree. Sometimes, I was listening to a song and I was like, I should do a video for this song. But I mean, it's always possible, maybe I will fly to Canada and shoot a video with MJ. Glad you like it. Thanks, Emmanuel. Thanks, Bruno. Telling you. Thanks. So yeah. Listen. So let me make sure that this thing is looping. Okay, cool, it is. I had some notes. I have some notes because I think this is a very interesting subject. And it's crazy because you have to know, I got a list of subjects and I put them in order, more or less the things I want to talk about. But there's always something new. So I have a lot of subjects that I wanted to talk to you 2 years ago. Let me see. For example, I wanted to talk about television and advertising, bad BRICS, the rise of the cyber socials, how to grow a YouTube channel, the ups and downs of being a god, invest in your independence. Everybody has a camera. Those are subjects from when I started Club Shada. I had a whole list of stuff I want to talk about. Every time I'm having a conversation, whatever, all these things. And so yeah. But it is what it is. The good thing is if you have so much stuff to talk about, it means you can do shows forever and always have something to talk about. So this is cool. And trust me, I'm not going to do a 5-hour show like last time. I'm going to do an hour and a half and that's it. And today I'm going to talk only about one thing. Oh, listen. Wait a minute. I have to do how you call it when you do an update on a subject. I forgot the name, but yeah, listen. Before we talk about the new world order, there's an update about R. Kelly. It seems like, let me make sure I'm sure. Wait, what's her name? One of the girls, yeah. Wait a minute. Wait. Because this is brand new. I just want to make sure that yeah, that's it. So apparently, listen to this. I'm telling you. Listen, apparently, our boy here, our boy Kels. So one of the victims, right, who was one of his latest girlfriends and who is one of the victims. So this month, the singer R. Kelly was sentenced to 30 years in prison on sex trafficking charges and still has more charges pending. The parents of his girlfriend, Jocelyn Savage, released a statement hoping the harsh sentencing meant their estranged daughter would return home. But it feels like they got engaged. And she now identifies as his fiancée, and now she insists that she's been wrongly portrayed as a victim by the government and that R. Kelly is the best thing that happened to her. Oh my God. What's the letter? R. Kelly engaged to brainwashed alleged sex slaves, Jocelyn Savage. Huh? Dear Judge, thank you for the opportunity to share my experience with Robert Kelly. My name is, and I'm her fiance. I'm writing this letter in support of Robert in advance of his sentencing so I can explain to the court that I'm not the victim that the government has portrayed me to be. My relationship with Robert is amazing. He's the best thing that ever happened to me. That's right. Okay. He's an incredible person. He loves music. He's passionate. He's positive. He's outgoing, generous, etc., etc. Robert and I are deeply in love, and it breaks my heart that the government has created a narrative that I'm a victim. I'm a grown woman and I can speak for myself, which is why I want to provide this letter to the court. I respectfully ask the court to take my words into consideration when sentencing Robert. He's a great man with a great heart and deserves to be home with his loved one who are ready to support him. Eh? All right. Well, you heard it. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. It is what it is. But the thing is this. The thing is this. I mean, I don't know. I'm just tired of this whole subject, but only her knows. Only her knows how she feels, and yeah, some people really feel like they are victims and others not, others don't. And some might just feel like, yo, listen, I'm just here. See what I mean? Like, and both can be true, actually. Some were there because they were consenting and others victims. It's possible as well. Or maybe, yeah, she's brainwashed. But the problem nowadays is that once everybody has created a narrative around you, people will just believe what they read on the internet. They don't even read more than the headlines. So, hey, prayers for everybody involved. Let me talk to you about the New World Order, and put me some unicorns in the chat if you're still here and you're enjoying this show. And if you had a great weekend, actually, let me know what you did this weekend. Here we had a huge heat wave in Portugal. My mom and my sister were here for a week, so all we did was eat, and now I'm getting ready to go on diet. It was too hot to get out the house, so I actually stayed under my AC. But yeah, what about you? What did you do? Did you go out? I see that listen, there's so much stuff going on in the world. Ex-prime minister of Japan got assassinated in the street. This is crazy, especially in Japan. Biden is reading the teleprompter, and the U.S. government don't even know what to do anymore to cover all his mistakes. The people of Sri Lanka just decided that they're done. Boa noite. Saísse pra isso? Oh. And yeah, I don't know if you saw what happened in Sri Lanka. Let me find it. I was like, damn, like, and they even went to I mean, it's part of the whole thing. Like, it feels like people are just done with a lot of the governments, you know. People are just done with, yo, listen, that was sad. I'm sorry, Shinzo. Anyways, I mean, I don't know. To me personally, what I don't understand, right? And I mean, I understand. To me, if you were the longest serving leader of if you were one of the longest serving leader of a country, it makes no sense personally that your security, I don't know if his security was weak. I don't know how is it possible that you hear, listen, my dad still walks around with people, with his bodyguards and guns and special car, like driver, and two people, where if he goes to the casino, to the hotels, that two people with arms all the time around him wherever he goes. I've known these people for 20 years, the same people wherever he goes. And he's not in the government anymore. He's a senator now. But I mean, you know, the security, I guess it's I wouldn't say it's forever, because you might say I'm done, but he was campaigning for a local election for somebody, I guess. So it makes no sense that you hear talking and somebody kills you in the street. Shinzo Abe killing. Security was flawed, Japan police says. Japanese police have admitted there were flaws in the security for former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, who was shot dead in the southern city of Nara on Friday. It's undeniable that there were problems in the security. Nara Police Chief Tomoaki Onizuka. A gunman opened fire on Abe at a political campaign event. The crime has profoundly shocked Japan. For real, it would be like if somebody shot François Hollande, who was the ex-French president, or somebody shot Boris Johnson in the street just like that. Like, makes no sense. Like, whenever you become such a public person, you have to be protected at all times, just because people. Sunday's election for the upper house went ahead as planned. Wow. Okay, the moment of silence for Abe was held at the LDP Tokyo headquarters as members awaited for the results to come in. Wow. The suspect held a grudge. Police said the suspect named Tetsuya Yamagami, 41, held a grudge against a specific organization. A Japanese media quote sources close to the investigation who say Yamagami believed Abe to be linked to a religious group which Yamagami alleged had ruined his mother financially. The suspect has admitted shooting Abe with a homemade gun, according to the police. Yo. I mean, come on. This shit is crazy. If it was in the US, I would not be shocked. But in Japan, yo. Listen, rest in peace. That's all I can say. Let me see the news. See what you guys are saying. Yeah. I mean, he has been elected, bro. Yeah, I'm engineering since 1 week back, not going out. Still on your crypto thing? Here it rained all weekend. Stay home. Listen, Nadia, I heard that there was a shooting in South Africa as well. Listen, that was crazy as well. That guy, like, he lied his way to the top and he thought he could continue, and yeah, at a point, it comes back to you. You know how it is. You know how it is. It is what it is. Your dad is a living legend. I hope I will meet him one day to acquire more wisdom from him. I hope so. Listen, whenever you come to Congo and I'm here, we'll make it happen. Oh my God. You and your theories. But listen, with the US, everything is possible. So, Did you see that? Look, another thing that is happening right now. The people of Sri Lanka decided to go inside of the palace, the presidential palace, and turn it into a swim resort. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa said he would step down on July 13, according to an announcement. I think he fled the country already. Military sources have told the BBC that he's currently on a Navy vessel. Okay, he stayed on a boat, military boat, waiting. His brother. What? Wait a minute. The prime minister was the brother of the president? Yo. Okay. His brother, former Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa, is on a naval base in the country, sources say. Hundreds of thousands, probably a million, descended on Colombo on Saturday demanding his resignation after a month of protest. The president has been blamed for the country's economic mismanagement, which has caused shortage of food, fuel, and medicine for months. Wow. Current Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe also said he would step down following Saturday's protests, in which his private residence was set on fire. Damn. But protesters remain skeptical about the leader's intentions. Our struggles, they were struck by the luxury of the palace. It's a palace, bro. Our struggle is not over, student protester Lahiru Wirasekera said. We won't give up until the president actually leaves. The next couple of days are going to be extremely uncertain times as to see what transpires politically. Wow. Well, the U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken said that any new government needs to be immediately focused on long-term economic stability. Wow. One family of brothers have dominated for years, since 2009. Wow. Listen, prayers to everybody out there in Sri Lanka, and it's interesting how the Western media will celebrate the people when they rise against a leader out there in the third world. But when you have the yellow vest in Paris doing a whole year of protesting, our president stayed there because we've been elected. So yo, you can invent that shit. Like, people in the US have been yelling, people in France have been yelling. Like, they're tired of the same thing. They're tired of all the games. They're tired of working for the government. You get your salary, and the French government wants 40% of your money. Like, makes no sense. And plus taxes everywhere. They take taxes at the petrol station. Sorry, the gas station. They take taxes on every good you have. They want a lot of money. Like in France, this is crazy. A lot of people are fleeing France to come to places like Portugal, where taxes are easier, where like there's no tax on crypto, where like there's incentive for you. Like you can create a company in Portugal and other countries. But in Portugal, you can create a company in 24 hours. You can incorporate yourself as a self-business like I did. Like your accountant can do it for you. It takes a signature. The next day, your name becomes a company and your expenses become expenses for you as a company. Like, and it's simply done. You get a tax number, boom, 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 it's done. In France, listen, bureaucracy, and you don't make money yet, and they already ask you for money. That's the craziness I went through in France, and it makes no sense. But yeah, they're happy like that. And when you have people tired and they start voting for the extremes, people come on TV and they start explaining that, the Republic, etc., etc. And people are a little tired of the games. They're tired of everything. The countries, Europe, everything. They just want to be back to having power as the people. Like, people want to decide the important subjects. And the media and the governments are trying to tell them that the important subjects are things that are going on 1,000 kilometers away or 10,000 kilometers away, or this or that, or subjects that have nothing to do with what matters for real, or subjects that concern 1% of the population. And people are just telling those people, we want to be able to eat and feed our children. And and the best thing for them is when people rise out there. They call it like le printemps arabe, le printemps Sri Lanka, the spring is here, the spring there. But when it happens in their countries, the black bloc, the angry radical left, like they start like, or the far right movements like Groupuscule, they start. Same people who are just saying, I want to live decent and I want you to stop like taking bad decisions. Same people, if they are in France or in the UK or the US or our countries here in Europe, same people will be treated as criminals. And exactly the same people, brown, black, Asian, out there in poor countries, they're gonna come and tell you, yeah, listen, those people were in power doing bad things, bad economy management, and the people were suffering. And it's the same thing that's happening here. I mean, in France, it's the same thing that's happening. This country has been mismanaged and they took all the wrong decisions for 50 years, and people are getting poorer and poorer. In the outside of Paris, it's becoming more and more favelas with no order, no law, no education. And yeah, there is like, oh no, you have to understand the people. Yo, listen, I'm tired. Where were we? I had a busy weekend. I went to an all-white party where my band was playing. We shot a video for a new track. Hey! And I had 2 church services today. That was a busy weekend. Where can we see the videos? How come you shoot videos and we don't know? You're not telling us about it so we can put the link? I'm telling you, Nadia, people are tired. These people have been in power for many, many years. I met some of them back in the days. Who? The Sri Lankan guys? They are your friends? Uh-oh. But listen, And this goes exactly into my whole conversation about what I believe has been going on a little bit in the world. The idea of new world order. Let me see if I can. What am I doing? The idea of a new world order is starting to really become something that is making people think a little bit. And you know, something that people don't really realize is that faut te reposer. Something that people don't really realize is that the fall of an empire is kind of always inevitable. We had the Roman Empire. We had the Persian Empire. We had the Mongol Empire. We had, listen, before Jesus Christ, before the Christian Empire, we decided that the date started on year zero, when there was like billions of years before, right? All these empires, they rose, they met their apogee, they stayed a certain way, and then they fell down, they fell off, because to become the number one is something that is really, really, it's not easy, but once you become the number one, you become the number one. But the hardest part in everything is not to become the number one, it's to stay the number one. And to stay the number one, there's a lot of things that you have to do as a community of people, as a community of leaders. And the ideas of the people who made us where we are, they sometimes perdure and sometimes they don't, or sometimes they fade with the people who come after. So the mentality of the people after the Second World War is not the same mentality of the people 80 years after, because most of the people who served in those wars are fading away now. So when you think about it, after the, sorry for my allergies, after the Second World War, America became the leaders of the new world and the good side of the world, as they say, because they won not only the allies, Europe, the Occident, NATO, they won the world war, but after that they also kind of won the Cold War. And then you had two sides. Everybody who was on the side of the Occident were part of the winning game, and everybody who was part of the communists, they were on the losing side. And the Americans became an empire, and they created wars here and there so they could keep the hegemony on the world. So wars, putting leaders in some places, invading countries, making money from wars. The military industrial complex is generating trillions of dollars every year. And they also colonize the minds culturally, with the music, with the movies. And if you think about it, every superhero we've known, when I was 20 years old, 28 years ago, every superhero I knew was American, and preferably white. It's only now that they start to give us some Wakanda and whatever, but and some Asian heroes. But for a long time, before they all discovered that they were woke, they just create a situation where the propaganda is telling you that, yeah, America is the place to be, the American dream, the place where you can make money. And listen, to an extent, it's true. But all this is being protected by not only all the strategic geopolitical moves they do around the world, but also the fact that they use the dollar as the main currency around the world. And the dollar doesn't belong to nobody. If the dollar was something that belongs to everybody, and that there were rules where nobody could print the dollars just like that, and nobody could decide all of a sudden, hey, Russia, you did a war, you cannot use the dollars anymore, for example, people would have trust in that money. The problem is the dollars belong to the Americans, and they can decide who can use it or not, so they can use it as a political weapon. And all this has created an hegemony of the American empire / American plus their puppies, Europe. And all this is what we call the Occidental empire. And yeah, for the last 60, 70 years, that was the empire. That was the leading force, the police of the world, the people who decide who's good, who's bad. CNN was where the news were, etc., etc. And somebody said, a philosopher said that empires usually last 60, 70, 80 years. After that, everything starts going down because because not because of conspiracies, but just because of the natural way of how the world works, how life works. It's the same thing as you being a baby, then you being an adult, and then you being an adult for a certain type amount of years, and then your knees start hurting, and then is the descent, and then there's a new generation coming after you. And interestingly, the Occidentals are unaware that empires fall, and they are doing everything in their power to stay the way they are, to keep the poor and them rich. Because it's something I've been saying for my whole life. In the balance, if you're here and the poor is here, if the poor goes a little bit like this, you will go here. And if they go here, you'll go here. Because you are poor compared to a rich person. So if you get less poor, it means the rich. It's just balance. And there's only one world and one set of materials. And interestingly, the Occidental empire have made everything. They created a world. I mean, they not created a world, but they made sure we are in a world where the places where the resources are, people are poor and badly governed. And it's not just because of them, it's also because of our own stupidity in those places. It's because of the bad leadership, etc., etc. But whenever there's a good leader, you get assassinated. And CIA is never too far. So all this is a way to keep your hand on the resources and to stay number one. But what has been going on in the last few years is that you see Russia not scared anymore to show its muscle. You see China not scared anymore to be like, yo, listen, we are now the number 2 and we're going to be the number 1. And it really feels like the Occident is like, it's not possible. So like, how is it? Like, no, it's not possible. Listen, before the Occidental, you had like, I remember, listen, Lisbon was a caliphate. Back when the Moors Empire, when the Moors, like, they took all of Spain, Portugal, and they were moving up, like at a point up to Constantinople, everything was Muslim territory. It was the Moors Empire, and then that empire fell down as well, and then Portugal became Portugal again, then Spain took everything back. But you still have, when you look at Portuguese people, you can see the people. Like, listen, France, Portugal was a colonial empire in the years in the 19th century. They were a Portugal empire. They were a colonial empire. They had Mozambique. They had some places in China. They had Guinea-Bissau, Angola, etc., etc. Brazil, and Portuguese is spoken. And Portuguese and Spanish are 2 languages that are spoken way more than English in the world, just because of that past of being empires. And then what happened? They fell. They fell because times changed and whatever changed, and they went down. France was a colonial empire. They still believe they are, but they were. And then things changed, and now it's a small country. And one day Africa will be the number 1 force, because at a point they will take control. They will seize control of everything. But the empire of today is going to do what the Roman Empire did as well at that time. They will continue to try to stay relevant and stay number 1. But there's always a point where it doesn't work anymore. It's just, and it's not a question of machinations and stuff. It's just the natural order of things. You don't stay number 1 all the time. It's something I tell artists all the time. It's the same thing as in music. Some people tell me, Kaysha, you have to come back, do shows. I'm like, bro, my first show, my first hit, my first banger, Bounce Baby, 1998. My second and one of the biggest African hits, On Dit Quoi, 2003. We are in 2022. It means that next year, On Dit Quoi will have 20 years. And my album, I'm Ready, 25 years. And people in the clubs, I'm 48. People in the clubs are 19, 18, 17, 16. What my mentor always told me was, there's the apogee phase as an artist. Then you have, now there's a rising phase. Then you have the apogee phase where you just glide and then you go back down. And then, people move on to the next thing, just not because they don't like you anymore. It's just because at a point you become the favorite of their mom, and maybe you can span a few generations if you keep working. But at a point, listen, Yeah, oh yeah, James Brown, love it. But it's the music for our parents. Cassava, amazing, but legendary, but it becomes the music of the parents. And then when you become parents, it becomes the music of the grandparents. And when the grandparents are not here anymore, the music fades a little bit too. And some people stay, like the Bob Marleys, etc. But a lot of the people will just fade away with time. And the music will stay here, of course, but it's not going to be, some people will have millions of people listening to them forever, and some others will just fade away. And maybe one day everybody will love reggaeton, and or maybe it's going to be house music again, or maybe it's going to be back to coupé décalé. You can see this with everything, with music, with the type of movies people love, with everything. And somehow the Occidental Empire is not realizing that they are starting to lose power just because they are not I think they're just resting on their laurels, and they believe that they are where they are because it's a gift from God. When they came where they are because their great grandparents did a certain type of work, took a certain decisions. And the Bretton Woods Accords, where when money was and the financial system was based on gold, and gold doesn't belong to nobody, and they stopped making it about gold but about the dollar. Once it became about the dollar, then America became the controller of money. So when you control money and you control the movement of money, if you don't like somebody, you can just decide that they don't have access to money anymore. So to give you an example, 10 years ago, Angola had a lot of money coming from oil and diamonds, and all the Angolans were buying everything in Portugal. The daughter of the ex-president, who, rest in peace, just died, she bought like a little bit of the cable company, NOS, a little bit of the telecom companies here and there, and a lot of people were buying apartments with, like, in some articles I remember were saying, damn, it's crazy that the colony, the ex-colony, is now buying the colonizer. And a lot of Africans were like, yeah, well done. And then for some reason, America arrived from nowhere and said, you're not in the SWIFT system anymore, meaning that you cannot change your money, your local money, from kwanzas in Angola to dollars. So you could be a millionaire, a multi-millionaire one day, and the next day you were only rich in Angola. And you could have your kids living here, studying in Portugal, and all of a sudden you could not pay the rent of their apartments if you didn't take the time to buy them. Just like that, you were removed from the game because they didn't like the way you used the game against them. Because you can play the game, but if you become too good at the game, you become an enemy. So this is how America is watching China now. Because China, for a long time, was huge but poor. People were in famine. But what they started doing, they started building and constructing our phones, our cars, our chips. A lot of things that we use are coming from China, even small parts. So as China was becoming the factory of the world, they were also acquiring all our technologies, all our savoir-faire, and they were just having a plan for the next 100 years. And they were like, we will become the empire, and our ways, our way of thinking, will do it. And people were like, hey China, what is this? Why can't we use Twitter and Google and YouTube on in China? They were like, nah, You have to use Baidu and whatever we call YouTube, and you're gonna use what's the name of the green one? I have it here. Wait, let me see. Forgot the name. Social WeChat. You have to use WeChat, etc. And they stop building their own version of everything we had here. Why? Because in the contrary to countries like France or the rest of the world, they didn't want American companies to control what is good and what is not good, and to control their own people. So there was like no Twitter. No Twitter. TikTok is a Chinese company. You are forgetting about it, but look at what the Americans did to TikTok. They forced TikTok to have a separate entity for China and one for the US and the rest of the world. And they were like, we don't want all the information from the Americans to be out there in China. But when I have an iPhone, my information goes to the US, and this is not a problem for you. So if I'm in China and I buy an iPhone, the servers still go to the US. And when China said, yeah, by the way, when you buy an iPhone, we want the same thing. We want all the information about Chinese citizen to be in China. All the Americans start going crazy. When we all here using Twitter, YouTube, we're on YouTube right now. It's an American company. Twitter, American company. Facebook, American company. Instagram, part of Facebook. We use WhatsApp, part of Facebook. All these American companies. Europe, where's the European companies other than Spotify? Nothing. So you have one place that is keeping all a grip on the information, on the way to inform, and that is deciding for you what is good and what is not bad. And they want to decide for you, even they want to decide take cultural decisions, saying that if you don't think like them when it comes to whatever they believe is social advance, if you don't think this way, you are a bad person, you're evil. And all this, it serves the same interest to stay on the top of the game. But what is happening is that, countries like China, they've been having a plan for a long time to become the number one, and to say, hey, listen, there's a lot of things that you guys do that you believe is amazing. We don't. And when we become number one, we're going to change that the way you change this. And look, some movies, when they get in China, they change something because they know this is a huge market. And in comparison to when America said, hey, we're going to remove Angola from the game because we don't want them to be too powerful and to eat Portugal, you cannot do the same thing with China, because China is 1.5 billion people. India is 1.5 billion people. Russia is huge. Africa is 1 billion people as well. When all these different parts of the world are starting to wake up and to be like, wait a minute, what you mean? Like, what you mean? Imagine Laurent Gbagbo, who was the president of Ivory Coast. Imagine Laurent Gbagbo gets in power, looks at all the deals between France and Ivory Coast, and he realized that in all these deals of shipments of gold, oil, gas, materials, all these things, instead of 80% of the money staying in Ivory Coast and 20% of the money going to, and France paying them for what they are taking, 80% of the money is going to fucking France. And the rest, 10% stays here. So he calls people and he says, yo, we have to renegotiate all these. This is crazy. And what happens, of course? A war. And who does the war? They pretend on TV that it's the people from Ivory Coast that liberated themselves, but we all know it's the French army. Put him out. Then put the cameras. Hey, we liberated the people, and they put the Ivory Coast people liberating themselves. And then arrives the new one, who's been here for 2 years, for 2 mandates already, and the maximum was 2 mandates. And when he arrived, he didn't change nothing. He put everything how it was before. Cool, because what? He came from France. He came from France, where he was in exile for a long time, and hey, let's go. And I don't want to enter into things, I'm just giving you. And when he arrives, when his mandate is over, his second mandate is over, and he's supposed to give the space to the next person, he goes for a third one. And it's against the Constitution. And then France doesn't say nothing. So all these people, they love to talk to you about democracy and all these things that don't work for us. But soon as it works with their interests, democracy, they don't care about it anymore. So, and people are just, back in the days, the information was not coming to you. Back in the days, whatever I was saying would not come to you. And the information, it would come from CNN, Le Monde, all these places. And all these places would give you a certain type of information that was one-sided. And anybody who would say something else would be deemed a terrorist. And it's harder to do today when we have people who can use the internet to have their own voices. When you have people like Joe Rogan who are way more powerful than traditional media, and you have a lot of people who get their information from sources that they trust that are on the internet. And those sources might contradict everything else. Because look, when you see what is going on right now in between Ukraine and Russia, all the information that is completely one-sided. And people are acting as if from 24th of February, things started. And nobody is talking about everything that happened 10 years before. Everything that the US have done for years before in that country to create a precedent, and all the things that that government, the Ukrainian government, has done to its own citizen who were on all the places like Donbass, etc. All this, there's a bunch of documentaries from the same people who were talking about this, saying like, yo, these people are doing a genocide. And all of a sudden, boom, the people who are doing a genocide are the Russians now. And you cannot even say the opposite, because YouTube will kill your YouTube channel for saying it or demonetize your video. And people are tired of this, are tired of the narrative of the good and the bad. It's not working with this generation that is coming. This generation, those people, they're like, stop with the BS. A lot of people are now realizing that, listen, the way the world works isn't fair, and it always will be. But they're understanding that they are being fed a lot of lies all the time. And this is when empires start falling, when the people are done believing the leaders and the people start to not agree with the leaders. And then the people are starting to be sympathetic to the people that the leaders say they're evil. And you've been seeing it in the US is, listen, protest after protest after protest, and corrupted government. You've seen this in France, years of protesting. Impossible to govern the people. And yeah, same thing in the UK. And people who are thinking that, yeah, Twitter is the place where the truth is. And all the things like movements that create people like the Amber Heards and the Meghan Markles, all these people, all this, the people are just starting to look at it and be like, yo, nah. And wait, first of all, you're still here, you enjoy the conversation, make sure that did I say an hour and a half? Look, it's not. If you enjoy the conversation, give me my unicorns in the chat. Let me see. Let me see what you guys are saying before I go through a little bit of points. There we are. It's Chinatown now. Chinatown now. Stop. Chinatown. What goes up must go down. Yes, Trish, telling you. Africa has the resources, manpower, intelligence to become number one, but there to be a massive education first. Oh yeah. It's something that when I talk with my friends, I'm like, they need to be a whole generation educated. You need 20 years of education, but sadly, every time people arrive in Africa, they get corrupted quick. And then it's hard to, it's too much money, too much possibilities, and too much corrupted people already. It's endemic corruption. On dit quoi? Ah, presque mon âge. I'm telling you. Nadia, tell them, look, there's more people watching than leaving likes. I don't understand why people are so angry with me. How do I have 20 likes when there's been already 150 people watching? What's wrong with you? There's a Latin phrase that goes, nihil sub sole, nothing is new under the sun. Listen, I'm telling you, they could not effectively play that swift game with Russia. I think they are doing the same thing they always do, and it kind of worked a little bit. It's just that Russia is not scared anymore. They're just ready to pass to the next phase. Alexander the Great has done many things but lost the empire one day. Yep. I'm telling you, Google has our information. Yeah, Google and Facebook have everything. Your phone knows where you are, etc., etc. Now, the US is creating fear among the businesses doing business in Taiwan by saying that China is going to take over Taiwan anytime. Yep. Listen, fear is one of the ways that you control people until it doesn't work anymore. It's just like kids. You tell kids, hey, you cannot go in the kitchen by yourself or in that room because there's a wolf. And they're scared. And like I used to tell this to my son all the time. There's the wolf there. And so he would not go in some places. And today, if I tell him now, I'll tell him now when he's 19, hey, don't go there, there's the wolf. He's going to look at me like, huh? Dad, what's wrong with you? The French that had Dailymotion competing with YouTube back in the days, but listen, the French minister of what's his name? I have his name here. Montebourg took all the wrong decisions with Dailymotion. Yahoo wanted to invest in Dailymotion, but the problem is that they didn't want a French company to become an American company. So, and I understand strategically having because I remember I was on Dailymotion before being on YouTube, and having a site that could compete with YouTube was good to have it as being a French site, of course, because at least you can have imagine like you French, you say something on YouTube about something. I believe personally that the platforms are betraying us when it comes to freedom of speech. I understand that some things cannot be said. I understand that, and some things, but I believe that if you want to create a platform where everybody will talk, you have to, of course, you can remove some videos where you know they are offensive, because you also have to protect your platform. But you cannot have a place where and there's a difference between offense, there's a difference between racism, transphobia, homophobia, anti-Semitism, etc., etc. Like, those are things that the law, those are things that are punished by the law. But then you have opinions. But if we are in a world right now where you have to even be careful about your opinions, you cannot give an opinion that is different than some people. And the worst part is, even in the platforms, you're going to have some opinions and you're going to be deplatformed. So during COVID, a lot of opinions, whenever you had an opinion or whenever you said, like, listen, I'm not so sure about vaccination, you could have your whole social media removed. Twitter would remove you, YouTube would remove, because there was some hysteria. So all these people who are obsessed with the idea that they are doing the good, and because they know what is good, they prevent the people who are not saying the thing that they deem not good, they prevent them to talk because they own the platforms. It makes on the long term, all of us not trust the platforms, because I cannot be in a platform where only the people who believe that whatever thing is good. And what if I have a different opinion and I believe that I'm not sure, or no, I don't think it's good, and these are my reasons, these are my scientific reasons, or these are my mental construction of why it's not good. And listen, then you have a comment section and other people who can say, nah, it's not true because of this, and maybe they can make me change my mind. This is the art of conversation. Now, in the world of today is, I'm part of such group, and whatever he's saying, I deemed it offensive for me, and I'm traumatized by his words. So the platforms decide to remove you because you traumatize somebody, supposedly. But then you start to not trust platforms because they pretend it's freedom of speech. And actually, you don't even have the freedom to speak, because once you speak, you get removed. So you get a lot of people who are hypocrites now. A lot of actors don't want to say their mind. They don't want to say what's on their mind. They don't want to even say who they're voting for, because they might get removed from a movie, where actually who you vote is your problem. But people are going to ask you. But when you're going to be there, give your political opinion, all of a sudden people hate you. So if you go out of YouTube, there's other options. But all these options are not interesting because they're not as big as YouTube. They don't have as much reach as YouTube. So in a certain way, YouTube has an hegemony. They have a monopoly on speaking on video. Maybe duopoly with Twitch. But Twitch is more live content. But But all of these are American companies, and American companies who are all having people who work at the editorial staff working, leaning to what they believe is the right political spectrum, which is in America, left. If you're a little bit more on the right, conservative, or a lot, you're in the evil side in America. And same thing in France. Like most people, if you're an actor, a comedian, an artist, it's better to have some left values. You better be on the left side. If you go and you say, oh no, you listen, I believe that whatever, boom, they all fall on you, and all of a sudden canceled, account removed. And the problem is what? That there are no alternatives. So if you get removed from your opinions from YouTube, Twitter, the American platforms, that's it. You don't have a Congolese platform where you can continue talking about the subject you're interested in. There's no French platform. And Dailymotion was supposed to be this. It was supposed to be, a French platform, and maybe they would lean more or maybe be more just, or I don't know. But at least if there was two platforms that were as big as one another, or maybe three, you would have the possibility to go talk about whatever you want to talk in another platform, and maybe that other platform would be like, no, here you can talk. Here we respect all opinions. And this is the big problem right now, that we're having with the platforms. The platforms did everything for us to become dependent on them. I cannot do this on Kaysha.com. It would cost me so much money just in bandwidth to just have. So I would have to pay for the content to be streamed to my platform, and then I would have to pay for every people watching down back to wherever you come from. I would have to pay that back in the days. And so that's why everybody rely on TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch. But all of these companies are Americans, and the Americans have been going crazy for some time now with their identity politics, with all whatever they pretend matter more than what's happening in the world. And I think it's a good way to occupy people. Think about, identity, this, that, I feel this, I feel that, while the economy is getting fucked up, etc. So but at a point, that's where you start seeing the fall of an empire, because people are starting to say to themselves, I cannot trust these companies. I cannot trust these companies because they have an agenda when they should be neutral. I cannot trust even where I work. Like, how come people lose their job, and you have people who are happy to say, and journalists, they are happy to say, that person works there, so that your company, whatever you do, if you do a mistake, remember that woman who, and listen, she did a mistake. There was a guy who was shooting photos of birds, and she had a dog, and I don't remember what was happening with the dog, but the guy said, can you please put the dog on a leash or something like that? And then she started becoming crazy, and she started, becoming a Karen. And then the guy said, listen, I'm just like this. You cannot put that dog this way here, whatever. And what she said, she just called the cops, and she said, listen, let me call the cop as a white woman and tell them that I feel threatened by a black guy. And that's what she said. The cops arrived. And when the cops arrived, luckily for that man, she was the one who got arrested. Okay, she did a mistake. But that woman, she had a job, and then because of course everything goes on the internet today, people start finding who she was, because Google search, you can put a photo, it will tell you who the person is. So the New York Karen, boom, her photo, people find her name, people start knowing what her job is, and now you have 1 million people sending messages to the company you work for, and now you lose your job because the company has to say, oh, we cannot work with these type of people. Boom, they remove you. Okay, the pleb is happy. Everybody's celebrating the fact that she loses her job, and nobody cares if she has family, people that she's working for, kids, whatever, or rents to pay. Everybody's happy that they ruined somebody's life, even if she did a mistake. Yeah, she did a mistake. She's a Karen, whatever you want. But does she has to lose her job for you to be happy? She could just get a fine for and learning your lesson. No, you guys want people to be removed whenever they do a mistake, and nobody wants those people to learn from their mistakes. So they radicalize people more instead of having them learn from that, because they could do an interview, whatever. Maybe she could sit down with the person, say sorry, and they could just talk, the two of them, and be like, you know that what you did is dangerous. This is how people like me get killed, etc. You could have those conversations with those people, and they could be like, oh my God, yeah, I realize now. Okay, yeah, privilege. You know, I just felt like, and I got annoyed, and yeah, listen, it's a good lesson for me. Something. Now, you guys want people to be destroyed, and you threaten them. You go to where they live, and you leave messages, and you like, and everybody loves to go on hysteric moves on people every day. They look for somebody else. They look for the next one. And yeah, listen, there's some people acting ridiculous in planes, like for Max, for all this. I know, but in reality, we have to start thinking of the way this whole society works, where whenever somebody does a mistake, they have to lose everything. They have to lose their job. They have to lose respect from everybody, from their family. They have to be insulted when they walk somewhere, like. And everybody who talks about equality, who talks about, you have all these women who talk about feminism all the time and respect women, etc. But then you have the same women who are insulting this woman, forgetting all their idea about, like, so. And to me, it's hypocrisy, where people should be like, okay, yeah, she fucked up, and yeah, she get a slap on the wrist, and then as long as nobody got killed, she doesn't need to lose her job. She doesn't need all that. But you make people believe that, oh, listen, if you act a certain way, or you think a certain way, or you're scared of a certain type of people, boom, we put you in a box, we remove you, and then Twitter suspend your accounts, YouTube suspend your account if you have one, Instagram will suspend your account too, Facebook will suspend your account, and you will lose your job as well. And there's nothing you can do. And it's supposed to be a place for everybody to have conversations. And this is what is making everybody stop believing in the whole system, because it's a system that only works for the people that you guys agree with. And this is why I've been seeing not only the pushback, but also a lot of people are having voices and millions of followers who are saying something that is very different from what everybody's saying. Listen, as long as they're winning, they don't care how long you stay. Yeah, Daily Motion. The Daily Motion interface didn't attract me much back in the days. The platform I chose back was Vimeo and Ustream. Yeah, same for me. I had a tool back in the days that whenever I had a vlog or a video, I would upload it to one site, and it would upload to all the sites. It would upload to YouTube, Ustream, Dailymotion, Vimeo, and Vidler. And then at a point, one day I went to my YouTube channel, because back then YouTube was just one site. And one day I went to my YouTube channel, and there was so much more views than everything else. I was like, yo, this is the place. And that's when I just concentrated on YouTube. And Vidler had monetization before YouTube, so that's why I was more into Vidler. But then Vidler became just for professionals, so I moved to Thing. And I remember at that time, people were already streaming on a site called Justin TV, that was done by a guy called Justin, who was filming himself 24 hours streaming. And Justin TV became Twitch, for those who don't know. Yeah, you're still here, listening to me ranting and rambling. So I'm gonna tell you what I believe is a sign that the Occidental axis, the Occidental empire is starting to lose power and influence. And that I believe that in maybe the world of our children, the influence might be completely different. So first of all, I think that Europe is blind. I believe that Europe is following the US without thinking. We can see it in the Ukraine-Russian war. You have to understand that when it comes to geopolitics, it's not about what's happening now. It's not about what's going to happen tomorrow. It's not gonna about what's going to happen the day after tomorrow. It's what's going to happen in 10 days. And when I say days, think like a day, like a whole 3 years. So every action, you have to think about what are the motives under every actions. What are the motives of why is America so interested in the what's going on in Europe right now? This should be the problem of the Europeans, because it's happening in our continent. But the US is like, and the US, so when you have like all these people in the streets with no food, you still have the US sending trillions of dollars and weapons to Ukraine. And funny enough, some of these weapons the Ukrainians are selling back to the Russians, and some of these weapons are already in Congo. Anyway, you do what you have to do. But you have to understand one thing. For America to stay relevant and the number one most powerful military empire and economy, they don't want, their worst nightmare would be that Russia and Europe become allies. That the French, the Germans, the US, the UK, the Portuguese, all of us become attached to Russia, because then we become a huge economic and military juggernaut. So it's better to divide us. It's better to use Ukraine as a good way to have the NATO again becoming the daddy of everybody. Because again, Europe has no defense, has no army. Yeah, the French has army, the Germans have army, etc., etc. But everybody is under NATO. There's not a European force that defends Europe. Everybody is defended by the US. So yeah, they did all this. They poke. They put missiles everywhere in Ukraine. All that stuff they've been doing. And when Russia said, yo, enough, perfect. So now they're going to have so the problem is that they have a knee-jerk reaction that is not intelligent, in my opinion, because of that, the Russians and the Chinese are now being friends because they have a common enemy. And I believe that it's even worse for the Americans and for the Europeans that Russia becomes the ally of China, because that's a lot of people. And the Russians have a lot of weapons, and the Chinese have a lot of weapons and a lot of people and a lot of technology. So those are moves that I believe are short-sighted. And Europe is not intelligent, in my opinion. A second thing that I believe that is showing the signs of loss of another thing that shows signs of change is the fact that people don't trust democracies anymore. They can show us people pushing their governments out in Sri Lanka, in all these places, but here in Europe and in the US, people don't believe in the governments anymore because they are as corrupted as banana republics. Same thing. It's just that they do it well and they use it. But when you see what the SEC is doing and all these things, like, people don't trust democracy anymore. And people want to do justice on Twitter. We just talked about it, which is stupid, but yeah. The sanctions that the people are taking against every country that they say are evil are not moral. They make us believe that they are taking sanctions against those governments. But in reality, who suffers are the people. The same way I was talking about New York Karen and the suffering that people want her to endure because of her mistake, it's the same thing they're doing to the Russian people right now, or they're doing to the Iranian people or the Iraqi people. When you say, we're going to bring democracy with bombs and we're going to do this and that, who suffers is not just whatever leader you remove or whatever people that you say are terrorists. The real people suffer. The millions of Congolese people who are dying because of your hegemony on the minerals from Congo are the people, the real people. The people from Russia who went from, a certain way of life, etc. You don't care that all of a sudden there's no more Zara there, no more McDonald's, all that stuff. The people are suffering. So your morality is hypocrisy. Is hypocrisy because what you're interested in is just staying there on top. And I mean, yeah, you still have a lot of people who will just follow and listen to you and be like, yeah, let's go. Yeah, show Putin. Listen, Russia, there's a lot of people in there, and the people who are suffering are the people in there. And when you say this type of people to stop these type of things to the people who are into the good and the bad, they will say, yeah, but Putin did that. Oh, you defend. Listen, shut the fuck up. The people are suffering. That's it. So your morality is hypocrisy. And now you have the rise of a lot of new empires and different places who learned from the past, from the past 60, 70 years of being mistreated by America and the lies of the Europeans. China, Turkey, Iran, Russia, Africa, India, Brazil, and more. And all these people, they are becoming different new forces, and some of them are getting together. So for example, there's Argentina, Indonesia, Saudi Arabia are interested in being part of what we call the BRICS. The BRICS is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. And they all want to have a new economic system where the price of wheat, the price of rice is not decided in New York on Wall Street. They're like, wait a minute. And they are tired of the exchanges of hey, I buy you rice, you give me some dollars, or I buy you some oil and you give me some dollars. Hey, I need some gold, can you give me some dollars? Hey, I need to build some electric cars, I need some coltan from Congo. Hey, Rwanda, go get it for me and I'll pay you in dollars. All these countries are like, wait a minute, every time we use a dollar, those people know what we are doing, and they are, they know where the dollars are going. And sometimes they can just wake up and say, hey Russia, all the oil we bought from you in euros or in dollars, yeah, all these dollars and all these euros, you cannot use them anymore. Well, I bought it from you, but no, you can't use it anymore. So you mean that if you buy something from me and you pay me with your money, you can decide one day that because whatever I did, when you do the same thing in other countries, you just say it's for freedom. But because you control the money, you can just decide that billions, hundreds of billions of dollars that you paid for my resources, you just decide that they're useless all of a sudden. Well, listen, I don't want dollars anymore. And other countries are looking at this and they're like, listen, these people have too much power over the world and they use good and bad to exert that power. So, you know what? Let's stop using dollars. Let's use the yen. Let's use the ruble. Let's use the Indian money. Let's use the rands. Let's use Congolese franc. Fuck it. Let's create something else. Let's use Bitcoins, whatever they see fit. And this is what's going on right now. Because a lot of these countries are realizing that for them to go to the next level, they also have to reach a certain independence from those countries. And this is why you see all these tensions in the world, and you see the US saying, hey, if China start helping Russia, you'll see. China is like, wait a minute, like we are 1.6 billion people, so we can use our interior market to continue our economy. We don't need you. You need us because we build your iPhones. Where are you gonna go build your iPhones? Those are very interesting movements that are happening. Another thing that is happening is that a lot of people are leaving countries. A lot of people are leaving countries like France, the UK. A lot of people are they are leaving countries because they are taxed and they want to live better. And a lot of brains are leaving those countries as well. So a lot of people who are being highly intelligent mathematicians, once they get their degrees, they move to the US or they move to Switzerland or they come here in Portugal. Why? Because they're not getting paid in those countries, like democracies like France, where people hate money for some reason. Whenever you do football, they will remind you every time that, yeah, like, we're giving you a favor. Now, I'm a good football player. That's why I'm getting paid millions. But they're going to do subjects all the time. They're going to do subjects about, like, when you go to France, you turn on TV, you're disgusted. They talk about Muslim 24/7. They talk about people who work hard to make their money. People who are rich because, and they are giving money to hundreds of families, feeding hundreds of family. And they will talk to you about, he's a billionaire, he does this, he does that, whatever, like if he stole that money. And they're like, nah, this money should be redistributed to, and at the same time, you pay high taxes. Trust me, I lived in France for 32 years and I was paying some fucking taxes. And so you're gonna work, and at the end, they're gonna come and take 30-40% of the money you made, where you could invest in a house, you could invest in an orphanage in Congo. You could do a lot of things, but they take that money, and when they take that money, they tell you that you have to do your part. They take that money, and then you see the shit they do with that money. They put it in their pockets, or they build stupid stuff, or they put it in elections or whatever, or they put it in a TV where you don't see yourself, or they put it in televisions. You pay the relevance for television, and when you go on television, you send your music videos. They don't want to play your music videos. They have stupid excuses, and you're like, wait a minute, why am I paying all this if in the end I participate, but the country, my own country, doesn't give me anything back? Let me get the fuck out of here. And a lot of people are doing what I did 10 years ago. They're moving to Portugal, where, listen, here, if I make $1 million, if I make $1 million in France, right, of copyright money, of intellectual rights, so music playing on TV, etc. If I make $1 million, France will take up to 60% of the money. So you generate $1 million. They will take 600,000 from your money, and you will have 400 left. And they will explain to you that, yeah, this is moral. This would be immoral that you get so much money. What? You don't need that much money. Well, this is the money I work hard to make that money. I can buy 2 apartments for my 2 kids, so that at least they start in life in a different, on a different level already, and it can be generational wealth. Nah, they're gonna tell you, give us that money, and you're gonna see the shit they do with it. When I moved to Portugal, when I pay my taxes here on intellectual rights up to 10,000, I think they take 8% straight at the source, not a year after. Straight at the source, they take 8%, or over 10,000. So if you make $1 million, they will take 160, 16%. That's a fixed number that they take from directly at the copyright level. They take that money, and boom, and you get your 840, and that's it. That's why Madonna moved here, Phil Collins, Florent Pagny, all these people. That's why they move here, because they realize, wait a minute, I work hard to make that money, and you are taking it, pretending that you're going to give it to the people that I'm doing my part. But the people who work at the hospitals, they're still not getting paid. They treated like heroes in the beginning of the pandemic, and when they say no, we don't want to take the vaccine first, you start treating them like criminals. You're supposed to use that money to give to them. And as an artist, if you start saying, listen, yeah, this is one of the reasons I moved, they're gonna tell you, you were happy when friends helped you with the social security. Well, listen, I never used it. I always was in private hospital, private everything. So all these little things are making people move away from the countries that used to be dominant, because all these countries are just, they're living on their success, they are on their laurels, and they just feel like they are, we are the place, we are the number one countries, we are the old empires, we are France, country of the Lumiere, whatever, all the bullshit that is not working anymore. You think that the Chinese are going to continue to come to Champs-Élysées to spend their money when they see the way you talk about them all the time? At a point, they will be like, let me move to a place where people like me. You think the Russians are going to buy more boats and more houses in France tomorrow when the war is over, whenever people find a solution to this? Do you think that all these people who got their boats, their houses removed, and the French government decided to sell them? Like, think about just in terms of, forget morality, because people love to use morality for everything. Let's just talk about in terms of law, in terms of, do you think it is normal that you take somebody's house away just because he's friend with somebody or is an oligarch, whatever? Did we take everything from American when they invaded Iraq, and then after that they got millions and millions of dollars to rebuild Iraq? No, all these people are still here. Listen, go to Atlanta, go see those people that own fucking areas of land. And a lot of people are just starting to realize that, listen, in a lot of those countries, democracy doesn't work, because you're going to sign some things, you're going to refuse to lose your sovereignty as countries to Europe, and you're still going to lose it. Even if as a referendum you said no, you're still going to have another treaty when they're going to be like, oh, you said no, but it's going to be yes. And people are starting to realize that, listen, the people are tired. If you're still here, if you didn't fall asleep from me ranting, put me some unicorns back in the chat. Let me see what you are saying. Democracy doesn't really exist again. This war between Russia and Ukraine is affecting the whole world, especially in Africa. I'm in Ghana, and when the price of gas goes up, it affects all areas. Exactly. That is true. I respect you a lot. Thank you. I'm glad you're bringing this subject to help us understand the side of what's going on right now. It's just my opinion, but if he can, but that's true. We're in a world where everything affects everything, and the people who are taking decisions today, they take it emotionally, and they don't realize that, listen, the price of wheat going up is bringing famine in Africa. And at a point, like, if as an African, as somebody from African descent, if I was the president of my country, the first thing I would do right now is I would request, or I would buy, or I would go find everybody that has large pieces of land, and I would be like, okay, let's plant a bunch of plantain, a bunch of how you say mandioca, a bunch of manioc. Let's do some fufu, let's do some cassava, let's do some rice, and let's do it here. We're gonna stop importing, and we're gonna feed our own people. Listen, my mom has, so you all know, of course, where's the, let me see, Kin Poco. No, that's not the Kin Poco. Damn, Kinshasa. Let me find this picture. Where is it? Let me find it. Where is it? Maybe I should have put Congo instead of. There it is. This is my daughter in my banana field. This is my daughter again. And this whole, everything here belongs to, this part belongs to me, but the rest belongs to my mother. My mother bought how much? I think my mom bought probably, I don't know, around 10 to 20 hectares of land, and all these land she's growing papaya, rice, fufu, pondu, a lot of the things that are the base of the Congolese citizen. And my mom told me something. Where's a photo of my mom? This is me, mom, and dad. It's my mom on the left. So my mom told me something that resonated with me, like a lot of the things that my mom tells me. My mom told me, yes, of course, he knew. My mom told me something that really resonated with me. She told me it is a special feeling to feed your people. And I was like, interesting, the way my mom sees it. And you know, my mom was just saying, listen, the idea that you are feeding your own people by something that comes out the ground, that it's not that you created it, it's just that you bought the land, you had people put the seeds, and then now you have a bunch of how you call this? Where's my family album? There you go. Yeah, now you can go sell this in the market, and you have people being able to, to eat. It's a special feeling. She told me that. She was like, it's a special feeling. And I was thinking about it. I was like, wait a minute. Those bananas and those plantains, those cassavas that are in my plot of 2 hectares where I was on, they will feed people. And it will not be sold for 10 times what they make in a day. It will be sold to them at the right price from what they can. And imagine now if we start doing our own yogurt with our own rice, our own everything, and we were not dependent on the price of all these things that because of something that's happening between people in the other side of the world. Because listen, what happens in Congo, what happened in Africa, they don't give a fuck. When we have our trouble, it doesn't change nothing in their lives. But when they have their trouble, all of a sudden, our lives are fucked. And oh, look at this. This is my dad with Thomas Sankara. This is my dad with Nixon. This is my dad with Fidel Castro. This is my dad with Amin Dada. I'm finding a lot of pictures. This is my dad with, and my mom on the side with Jacques Chirac, Sarkozy. Who else? Yeah. Lots of nice pictures. Wow. Anyway, let me go back to my subject because too many photos here. But look, a lot of countries are starting to understand that we are in this world where maybe it's time to start the thinking to not be fully part of this whole thing, part of the, we're starting to understand that every time, you listen, did I finish my story about Gbagbo? I'm not sure. Yeah, there was a war, he got whatever, and then he got sent to the CPI, Cour Pénale Internationale, the international tribunal that only works for Russians and Africans. Americans never, French never, all the war crimes, that it only works, like you only go there if you are in Africa, and people are like, yo, wait a minute. How you gonna decide the good and the bad and you're also the judge? And you can, listen, can we send, it's something I said back when there was the yellow vest. Can we send the Congolese army to liberate the French people? Like the French would have gone without us asking? And this is a thing where once you've been on the top of the world, the top of the food chain for too long, you lose humility as people. The Americans, the French, the Europeans in general, and the rich Europeans, because the South, the Spanish, the Portuguese, the Italians, those are the poor. We the poor. The North side, the UK, the French, they despise us. They see us as poor countries. I put myself in the Portuguese because it's been 10 years I'm here, but yeah, they see us as, they are the rich Europe. So even there, they're like, huh. But all these countries, they're starting to say to themselves, yo, it's time we liberate ourselves a little bit from whatever those people who are on the top, who believe that they are right and everything has to go in a way that serves them. So for example, I'm sure that with the number of French people, American people, Russian, Ukrainian, Brazilian people who are moving to Portugal because of tax reasons, I'm sure that France must be saying to themselves, instead of saying maybe we could lower our taxes to retain people, they are trying to find a way to force Portugal to up their taxes and to stop the hemorrhage of people from leaving those forsaken countries. Because that's the way they think. They think, hey, if people are moving in other countries, we have to stop these countries from being desirable. We have to start calling those countries fiscal paradises. And now you start the narrative. And now they look at France. Look at what France is saying. Look at what Europe is trying to do. They're trying to say that there should be a unified tax system for all Europe. And all the numbers should be the same to prevent people from not paying their taxes. Wait a minute. I'm paying my taxes. I'm about to pay probably 10 to 12,000 euros of taxes in Portugal. And I'm paying happily. I'm paying on time. I'm not evading doing my share. And listen, same thing here. I'm not using Social Security. I'm not using nothing. I'm paying for everything private. I have because I can. So I'm doing it. I pay for me, for my son, for my wife, for my daughter. I have a private insurance, and I go to a private hospital, all that shit. So I could say, hey, I don't want to pay taxes. I don't want to pay for the light, whatever. I pay happily. And listen, I don't even know what the government is doing, but I find them better, personally, for my way of life. But the French, they're like, no. We want your money back home. So they're going to start to put pressure on the Portuguese countries. Once there's too much people living, they're going to start pushing the narrative and trying to bend the rules so that the rules serve them. And a lot of countries are starting to say, we might go out of Europe, out of the euro, and we might go do like the UK because we tired of all that shit. We want to control our destiny, and we want to start being in a place where we can decide how we tax people, and we can decide that if somebody comes with $1 million, yeah, well, listen, you can pay 10% tax for the rest of your time here, or for the next 10 years or 15. Well, we can do a deal with you because you are bringing money, and we are interested in that money. The others, they act like gangsters. They're like, no, this is how we roll. This is how we roll, and you're gonna do it this way. All right, this is a long rant. I'm almost done. Don't worry. Yeah, thanks, Kendrick. What's up? Long time. I have small lands with beans, peanuts, and cassava in Mozambique. Ah, nice. Kaysha for president. Let's do it in 2023. No, I'm not taking part of that vaudeville. I'm not taking part of this one. Maybe in 10 years, but nah, I'm not taking part of all that bullshit out there. And I'm a French citizen anyway, so I cannot run for president in Congo. Did he wrote his memoir? No, not yet. One day I'll do. I'm gonna record Club Shada special with him and ask him all the questions. Imagine the UN only operates in Africa. They never went in Ukraine. Listen, bro. I mean that was wild, but there was a big propaganda against him though. Unified tax systems, I'm telling you, they're trying. I pay more than 1,005 monthly. Is painful. Yeah, it is. I'm pro sports here in North America. Some players have closed to prevent trades to cities with higher taxes. This is why Toronto, for instance, can attract superstars aside of drafting. Wow. See? Taxes stealing. You meant stealing, okay. In Sweden, you make 4K monthly or more, you pay 50%. Damn. Bro. Damn. I mean, let me continue. Let me finish with my my whole argument. Ain't that crazy? Last week we were talking about R. Kelly stuff. Today we're talking about the New World Order. So listen, I talk about all that. Let me talk. What else I did say? Yeah, another thing that is changing is demographics. You know, a lot of the old empires, a lot of the older democracies are having a decrease in the young force because people are having less kids, and in terms of demographies, there's not enough people to pay even for the there's not enough workforce to pay the taxes that I can pay for the hospital, the retirement of the older people. So this is why France, for example, is trying to do a reform, and every time they talk about reform, everybody's in the streets. But and a lot of people, they want to keep working until 64, I guess, where the rest of Europe already work until 66, 67. They just want to add a few years to the age where you have to depart to retirement. But there's not of young people. There's not enough young people active in working and being paid well to pay the system. Because that system, I mean, that there's not enough money going in to work in the system. And all these systems were created when, Haiti was giving all their money to France. Like Ivory Coast, all the colonies were giving all their money to France. In a world where all these countries are starting to say, like, listen, I'm gonna give my money to my people, or etc. It's becoming less and less possible to use the systems like the way the ones in France. So, and in places where you have a high demography, like India, like China, all these future empires can rely on their interior market. So if tomorrow, and as you see, the American is very, they sing a lot of things about China, but like I said before, if France, for example, start talking a certain way about China, and China decide that they will stop using anything coming from France, so LVMH is gonna lose like 50% of their revenue. Louis Vuitton, L'Oreal, all these people. If the Chinese start saying, listen, you cannot sell your stuff here anymore. We're gonna make our own bags, or we're gonna buy only stuff from Congo. We're gonna buy brands from Al-Fadi, from Niger. We're gonna start working with our brothers in Africa, or whatever. Or we're just gonna buy Italian, whatever. All these brands lose 50% of their market share. Apple sells so many iPhones, and if they lose that market, they're not a trillion company anymore. They lose 50% value from one day to another, just because in terms of sales, they will go from doing $1 billion in sales every day or every month. I don't know the numbers. I forgot the numbers. It will be slashed in two, because those markets are huge. But if Apple stops selling iPhones in France, they don't care. 60 million people. What is 16 million people compared to 1,005 million people, 1.5 billion people? The terms of size are making a lot of countries who still see themselves as big, small. But they just don't realize it, because they've been drinking their own lies for all that time, and they see themselves as, listen, when you hear France talking, we are the light, we're showing the way to everybody. No, you don't. You lost the whole technological war. Twitter, American. Facebook, American. Google, American. Amazon, American. Facebook and Company, American. We all talk where? WhatsApp, American. You lost that war. Why? Because you did the same, those stupid shit that you did with Dailymotion. By putting Dailymotion with Orange, when, I understand you didn't want them to become an American company, but you could at least let some American capital go in and let the people who know the internet I mean, Yahoo did a lot of stupid shit, but somebody, Amazon, whatever, I don't know, or maybe you should have let Free take over, but they put the people from Dailymotion with the people from Orange, which is the French telecom company, and the two cultures didn't work together. It clashed. So now Dailymotion is a place where nobody goes. The website is horrible. I mean, last time I went, it's horrible. It's not usable. And places like YouTube, it's simple. You go, you know what you're looking for. You go to Dailymotion. Like sometimes I'm like, I go in those places and I'm like, what are these people thinking when they do the UX? What are these people thinking? Listen, everybody is used to the TikToks, the way the Netflix work, etc. When you do an app, stop trying to invent the wheel. Copy what works. Anyway, and China have their own system. India, they have their own copy of TikTok. I forgot the name of it. And look, in Europe, in Congo, in Africa, we don't have our Spotify, we don't have our Twitter, we don't have all these things. We wanna be in the American one. And those people, Twitter, they can wake up one day and decide, oh, listen, dictator, we remove your account because you are evil. A president? Listen, China is right on that one. You can say what you want. The big wall of whatever, they are right. They are right to do it. I don't agree with them on a lot of things, but in terms of, say, if we forget morality for a second, and we start thinking realness as well, they actually cut themselves from a lot of conversation, and they cut themselves from having their voices perverted by whatever you see on Twitter today. The conversation, the things that are important, the things that people are yelling about every day on social media right now makes no sense to people like me. And yeah, listen, there's some interesting things. It's not all bad, but if you are China and you want to keep control of your population, you want to keep control of your narrative, you want to keep control, you want to keep the vision where you want to go, it's not going to be on Twitter that you're going to see these things. You can let them talk, say whatever they want about you, but you are saved from what they did. And I believe that they learned this from what they saw them doing to all the people they put in power. All these presidents that in Africa that we are saying, oh, our president, whatever, the Americans put them there, the French put them there. And then once they put them there, in a few years, they are the ones who remove them, pretending they come to save you. And at the same time, they take your resources. The Chinese, they were like, nah, you're not going to do this to us. We know how you operate. So now we're going to move. We're going to create our own copies of everything you do. And we're going to control it. And yeah, you're going to be saying that, in China, they don't know nothing about all the whatever. Listen, on the other side, people are minding their own, where you are here trying to mind everybody's business. So it has its good and its bad, but all these things are important. So the war, the technological war is being lost by Europe, and I mean America is still there, but a lot of people are understanding that in reality people don't care about all your morality. People want to be where they can be safe and work for the families, and a lot of people are starting to remove themselves from a lot of these countries. It is a reality. You can see what happened in the last 10 years. Everybody has been moving away from a lot of the countries that used to be, the main countries. So, in conclusion to my 1 hour show, in conclusion, I believe that the lack of vision is what is happening, and it, it's so interesting that in the music industry I've seen this happen to a lot of people, but I never realized. I realized, but more and more I realized even more that what I learned in the music industry was a microcosm of what is really happening in the macro world. A lot of people, because they are number one, they think they're gonna be number one forever. Personally, I've always been a realist. When I was number one in 2003, I was saying to myself, I won't be number one in 2023. It was clear for me because of so many reasons, because of age, because of people coming after me, because of maybe me wanting to do other things. Listen, I'd rather come here and do this show and make money from this show slowly. And listen, the YouTube money might not be the money I make with my YouTube channel. I can make just 2 free shows and I make that money. It's less work, it's fun, you in party, blah 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 blah, but it's not as steady, meaning that you're gonna have 3 shows today, you might not have them tomorrow because you are not in control of who decides to call you to do a show. This channel, the only thing I don't decide is you guys showing up or not, but I know that the money that comes from this channel is steady. It comes every month. It goes up slowly, but it comes every month. And at the end of the month, when it comes, I pay for my kids' school, I pay for electricity, I pay for this and that. I can even pay the rent with it, and I can feed my family with that money. So I'm thankful to you, and hopefully the sponsors that I will put here. And this is a big difference. All these things made me think in 2003, I was like, okay, I'm going to use what I have right now, and I'm going to build on that to build a brand where I can do everything. NFTs, music, instrumental, writing for me, writing for other people, having my own show on YouTube where I talk about different things and people come. All these things, it's called vision. And a lot of people that were in my position 10, 20 years ago, they didn't have that vision because they believe, yeah, we're going to be here forever, number one. And today, they're all crying, all of them, because the only thing they have is shows. And they're all reaching 50, and they don't know how to do nothing else because they never thought, oh, I might have to do something else one day. Listen, personally, if music only worked for 6 months, I study economics and graphic design. I came out of Sorbonne, and I came out of those, and of one of the biggest school of design. Like I could do so many things. I could do design, graphical, build website back in the days. I could work on YouTube channels for other people. I could have all these things. I already had these options in my head when I was 24 doing my first album. So, but if in your head you're like, I'm number one, I'm the one, people love me and people will love me forever, you're gonna wake up in 20 years with oh shit, I'm not the one anymore. And people, some people still love me, the rest, they moved on, and I don't know how to do nothing else. And I believe this is what is happening to what right now with the shift of powers in the world. Some people are thinking that they are going to be number one forever, and they are probably number 11 already. They just don't know. And some other people, they're getting ready to take over, and you see pushback between different forces, different style of cultures, between different set of what is permitted, what is not. You see people who are more and more depraved on other sides, and people who are more and more strict on other sides. And listen, I don't know who will win, etc. We'll see. But listen, it is what it is. I'm not going to take more of your time with my my conversation with you. I hope the information that is contained in this conversation that we are having today has been of good interest to you. Hopefully, if it is the case, listen, as always, put some unicorns in the chat to say that you enjoyed this conversation. And this show is brought to you by Shada, the gods of good fortune. And listen, I'm glad that everybody stayed for a long time, and the people who didn't put their likes, they put them, some of them. Yo, it's a big conundrum how to get rid of the China factory and consumers. That's the thing. Those people take decisions. Those people take decisions emotionally, just like the people on Twitter, and they don't realize that you're not going to change this whole system where you're going to need those people. So listen, we're going to see, like, you get rid of China, iPhones are now cost 3,500. So we'll see. In that matter, Americans will always get the edge. You got a good idea. Here's a green card. Come make it here in the US. Exactly. This is something that the other countries should do. China will not let its people unless it's part of their global plan. Oh yeah. And they have a plan. They have a plan. Elon didn't close the deal with Twitter. Yeah, I saw that. That's crazy. We are here to share more knowledge. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, don't forget to leave comments. And listen, go to the YouTube channel and go watch the show of last week with Trisha. We have small snippets of the show. It would be great if you go watch this video, leave a like and leave a comment. I'm going to leave you with a track called Brothers by Monsieur de Shada, and I will see you in the next episode Wednesday. Until then, my people, be blessed. Peace.